Good evening. I'm Katerina Georgieva. This is CBC Windsor News. Thanks for joining us. Let's begin tonight with a scam you should know about. This time of year, a common present is a gift card. But have you ever gone to use one and it's empty? Well, it does happen. So here's what you need to know to protect yourself and the person you'd like to give a card to.
I'm Dale Molnar. This is a typical gift card that you might get from a store or a restaurant. The stores get these cards for free from a company that then takes a percentage of what is activated on the card when it's activated. I spoke to cybersecurity expert Ritesh Kotak about some of the methods the scammers use to scam these cards, and one of them is to clone the barcode on the back.
Check the balance on those cards, because if somebody else has that barcode, they could essentially use that barcode to recreate gift cards. It's quite simple to do so, or B, just produce that barcode at time of checkout, where a server or an individual simply scans it and the money's gone.
Another way is for someone to take a picture of the barcode on the back of the card and then use it at a self-checkout when someone else activates the card. And Kotak says that's not all.
We've seen situations where fraudsters have actually surgically essentially removed these cards and put in a fake sticker of a barcode and then reinserted the card and then glued back the seams there. The other thing they've also done is where if there is a activation link, physically changed that link or that QR code by sticking a sticker on. So the only way to really know if something has been tampered is to physically inspect the packaging, inspect the links, inspect the barcode to make sure that there's been no tampering, there's no sticker on it.
Kotak says there are ways you can protect yourself from the scammers too.
First thing is go to the actual store. The other thing also is pay by a credit card. And the reason for that is if there is anything fraudulent, there is a chargeback process. Your purchase may actually be insured, and you might be able to get your money back, especially if you've been a victim of a scam. The third thing is physically inspect the card, double check the receipt, make sure that all the barcodes match up. Even feel free to take the card out at that moment and verify via an activation link or some sort of balance checker to make sure that the money that you've deposited has been deposited onto that card. Make sure that you validate and verify.
Now, after all this, if you're still not sure about using gift cards, remember, there's always cash. Dale Molnar, CBC News, Windsor.
Well, we are in the midst of the holiday season, and that's usually when charities see a spike in donations. But this year, things are different. Pratyush Dayal has the details.
Donations for many charities arrive by mail, so the Canada Post strike, it's costing them. At least one Windsor charity I spoke with says they're seeing record low donations.
We're probably down at least $250,000 in donations last year to this year, and that would have been all through the mail.
At the downtown mission, Rukshini Panayagulan is seeing declining donations, usually sent by seniors. While they are urging people to donate online, it's not helping.
The mission has a lot of older donors as well who may not be comfortable with donating online or may not even know that that's an option for them.
This is usually the busiest time when they get 65 to 80% of all their donations. That has her anxious for next year.
It definitely puts a huge dent. We depend on our donations, again, this time of the year to help us keep up with current, but also to, put aside a little bit of a nest egg to get us through those slower months in donations that we typically experience January to March.
At Street Help, they have 400 people to feed every day, but donations here have also dwindled.
I think we're at about 1/5 of the money that we would have been at this time of year last year.
Donors have been hand-delivering checks, but Street Help is still behind by a lot. It means putting kitchen upgrades and storage renovations on hold.
Still dragging by. We're not seeing the amount build up. We're kind of staying at a stagnant point financially. So we need that money to come in at some point.
The Canadian Union of Postal Workers says it empathizes everyone impacted by the work stoppage and is prepared to get back to the bargaining table to resume the work as soon as possible.
We're not losing faith, though, because everything we built has been on faith.
But until the strike is over, charities worry about the fate. Pratish Dayal, CBC News, Windsor.
Meanwhile, the federal government is intervening in the Canada Post strike. Labour Minister Stephen McKinnon is sending the dispute to the Canada Industrial Relations Board.
Not only have the parties been able to show any progress towards an agreement, the federal mediator has now informed me that the negotiations between both parties are now, in fact, going in the wrong direction.
If the board determines negotiations are at an impasse, it's directed to issue a back-to-work order. At the same time, an inquiry will examine why talks have failed. Its scope will include the corporation structure and business model. The union has denounced today's move as an assault on collective bargaining and the right to strike. Colette Kennedy is with us now for a quick look at weather. Colette, just as things are about to start warming up again.
Yes, that's right. We're going to be going in the other direction, but not quite yet. We've still got a cold night ahead tonight, and certainly last night we fell to minus 12. Yes, that forecast was right on with that, minus 12, and then you had to factor the winds in. Well, at least tonight the winds will be a little bit lighter, so that helps us out. We generally have some clear skies, good meteor, shower viewing, except our moon is almost full, so that's very bright in the sky and can kind of take away from that. In terms of what we have for the temperature tonight, minus 10, feeling like minus 15. Again, lighter winds, so not too bad. The winds pick up tomorrow. Clouds will be increasing, kind of variable at times through the day. But look at that, above freezing up to 2 degrees, and it goes up from there. More on that coming up.
Thanks, Colette. Up next, the much-publicized tax holiday goes into effect tomorrow. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has promoted it as a festive gift to Canadians, but not everyone is thrilled. And that includes businesses and consumers. Anise Haidari has more.
This retailer has a lot to do to prepare for a temporary tax cut.
We're trying hard. We're not throwing our hands up in the air. We're going to make a valiant attempt, but there's going to be some errors.
Hundreds, if not thousands of items have to be checked. Only some will be tax-free for 2 months, but it's not always clear what counts and what doesn't.
I mean, a child could use it or an adult could use it. So who is this primarily for? And I honestly cannot tell you. We sell it to everyone. Some new games, and we're trying to figure out.
It will be hours of work to adjust to the GST. That time will cost many businesses money.
There are huge compliance costs that are being pushed down to businesses. Reprogramming that has to happen basically at night on Friday, December the 13th. It's a giant mess.
All this may not boost holiday sales.
It's just not going to affect my shopping habit, really.
If I pick something and it happens to be included, that's going to be great. It'll be a nice surprise, but I'm not going to necessarily let that be sort of a driving criteria for what I'm shopping for.
I wish I knew about it earlier before I did all my shopping.
And dropping tax on a select list of items, like Christmas trees, has been criticized.
The types of goods that we're trying to subsidize aren't really the most important types of goods. So yeah, I truly believe that this is probably the worst designed tax policy or tax initiative we've seen in a decade.
Over in Calgary, Jennifer LeBlond would love a GST break, just not in mid-December.
It's a busy time of year. It's the wrong time of year for us to be doing it. I super appreciate, in some ways, the gesture, but it's causing a lot of work for us at this time of year.
A proverbial lump of coal in the stocking, but maybe 5% cheaper. Anise Haidari, CBC News, Calgary.
A nonprofit group in Lakeshore now has ownership of the St. Joachim Catholic Church. And you could say the group, called the 927 St. Joachim Association, got it at a steal. The Catholic Diocese of London sold the church to them last week for, get this, $2. The group has been refurbishing the church for the past few months, although it has been sitting idle since 2000. The group is trying to make it into some sort of venue, and it's received ideas from the public that range from a community center to a dance hall to a senior center. The building needs new windows and doors to have hydro hooked up, and those costs are estimated at $300,000. Let's turn now to a lantern in the shape of a star. It's a sign of hope and of love, and for the Filipino-Canadian man who makes them here in Windsor, it's a way to mark the season and honor his culture.
Hello, my name is Daniel. I built Christmas Parol, which is a Christmas lantern in English. Christmas lanterns is a ornamental decoration, which is, they displayed it in the market, in church, and everywhere. If you see it in the Philippines. So this is the star frame. It's made of bamboo sticks, right? And then after that, when I'm done, I put Christmas lights inside, and then I use this Christmas wrap, Christmas plastic cover, and then I put it here. And then when I'm done, I put it together with the hula hoop, and then voila, this is a Christmas lantern. Finished product. The Christmas lantern represents the Star of Bethlehem that guided the three kings to baby Jesus.
And why is that star such an important symbol in that story?
Because it represents hope and love. It connects me to my culture, right? My grandparents, raised me to do, to follow the culture, right? That's really how it connects me. Yeah. It is important to show my tradition to other people because, some families that immigrate here, right? Their kids just want to follow the tradition, yeah. So it kind of fading away.
Oh, it makes us so happy because knowing that we're here in Canada, we still feel like that we're in the Philippines, seeing this lantern.
Maligayang Pasko! Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho!
The hit musical Bear Grease is back for another run at the National Arts Centre in Ottawa. The popular show reimagines the 1978 musical Grease with an Indigenous cast. And this time around, it has a holiday season twist. Sandra Abma has the story.
In Bear Grease, the teenage star-crossed lovers Danny Zuko and Sandy are played by Bryce Morin, who hails from Treaty 6, Alberta, and Melody MacArthur of Big Stone Cree Nation. In this version, the duo first meet at a powwow, and their romance plays out on the res. Set in the 1950s, it's a rosy, joyful confection of familiar tunes, laughter, and dance, an escape from the real world of Indigenous struggles of the time.
Different realities, such as residential schools, boarding schools, and 60s scoops, right? So, we found that it was nice to kind of flip the script on the, that time and, create this alternate universe.
For award-winning performer Melody MacArthur, Bear Grease is a celebration of the spirit of Indigenous resilience.
What I love Bear Grease is that it's just a powerful medicine that changes perceptions for people, both Indigenous and non. Because, again, we're telling the story as if colonization never happened to us. So what would that look like? How much joy would that bring? How joyous would that be?
The musical has caught on with audiences across the continent since it debuted at the Edmonton Fringe Festival 3.5 years ago.
It was originally like a 20-minute set, and since then it's grown to a full-on production with an intermission and everything, new numbers, new choreography. It's taken us all over North America. We've been to Vegas, we've been to LA, we've been to, everywhere, Vancouver, you name it. It's colder, that's where it ends.
And it shows no signs of stopping. This version of Bear Grease is subtitled Shack Up for the Winter, and the performers have added a few holiday numbers to celebrate the season. Sandra Abma, CBC News, Ottawa.
Some sad and happy news to tell you about. Dale Molnar, one of our veteran reporters, is stepping down to retire after more than 40 years in the biz. Most of that spent here at CBC Windsor. We're going to miss him a lot, but we are not letting him go just yet. His last day is next Friday, so every day next week, he's going to meet me right here at the desk, and we'll talk about some of his favorite stories. Stay with us. Welcome back. Jewelry store robberies are on the rise in Canada's biggest city, and the numbers have tripled in one part of the Greater Toronto area. Thomas Dagla takes a look at the disturbing trend and what's behind it.
Outside a Toronto jewelry store on a recent evening, at least 8 masked suspects are seen charging in, captured on security video trying to smash through the door, until quick-thinking staff reach for a sword to fight off those would-be robbers. Yes, for jewelry store workers, it's come to this.
We were scared. We were like, it was a scared to death kind of situation, you know, when somebody got into your store.
Area jewelers are reporting a steep rise in robberies, nearly 100 this year. like this brazen smash and grab at a suburban mall last week that left one employee on the floor, injured and terrorized. The man recording this video runs after the robbers all the way to their car.
A lot of these stolen goods are being sold at less than scrupulous businesses, whether they're, say, cash or gold exchanges, or they're, say, a flea market.
Again, oh my God!
Police in Toronto say reported jewelry store robberies have doubled this year, while in some suburbs they've more than tripled. Watch as this suspect shows off a hammer, then takes off, with mall security left helpless.
It's worse. It's like a bad you cannot even imagine.
You see this stuff in movies, and when you witness it firsthand and when you go through that experience, it's definitely traumatizing.
So why are jewelers being targeted now? This industry expert has a hunch. As more consumers pay by card and fewer retailers carry much cash.
Jewelry stores are also not full of money, but they do have gold, and gold can be turned into money relatively easily, and gold prices have gone wild.
As for that sword-wielding store worker who warded off the would-be robbers, seconds later the whole group is seen running away, empty-handed. Thomas Daigle, CBC News, Toronto.
The head of Air Canada testified before a parliamentary committee today and answered questions about the airline's recent decision to charge travelers extra fees for carry-on baggage. The head of the company defended the move, saying it is necessary to remain competitive in the market.
True competition requires companies to respond to market forces. This is exactly what we're doing. We are aligning our lowest fare policies with those already offered by our competitors, WestJet, Porter, and Flair, to be in a better position to compete for price-conscious customers.
Executives from WestJet, Air Transat, and Porter also testified before the Standing Committee on Transport, Infrastructure, and Communities. In recent years, those airlines have started charging add-on fees that were once included in the cost of a ticket, and that includes checked bags, onboard snacks, and Wi-Fi access. Committee members say that it's making air travel unaffordable for Canadians, but one of the execs who testified today said air travel is especially expensive in Canada because of government policies and third-party fees. The Lakeshore Fire Department is sounding an alarm over lithium-ion batteries, warning they could be a potential fire hazard. Lithium-ion batteries power many everyday items, from battery-operated vacuums and cell phones to e-bikes and even smoke alarms. And on 3 separate occasions, all using aftermarket batteries for remote-controlled cars, they malfunctioned while charging. That's according to the fire department. The damage caused in those incidents totaled nearly $1 million. And the fire department in Lakeshore is advising consumers to purchase batteries directly from the product manufacturer, as off-brand batteries may not be compatible, and to never leave batteries charging unattended. For astronomers, professional and amateur alike, one of the biggest events of the holidays is the annual Geminids meteor shower. Colette mentioned that earlier. And this year's reaches its peak over the next 2 nights. The Geminids are one of the most spectacular meteor showers, and this year, though, an almost full moon will dim their luster. Some years the moon is part of the show, with flashes visible from meteors striking its surface. And it's believed the Geminid meteors originate from an asteroid, and that was only discovered in 1983. And coming up Monday on Windsor Morning, the jobless rate in Windsor, Essex remains the worst in Canada, and yet more people are working than ever before. Host Amy Dodge will take a closer look at what's going on. That's Monday on 97.5 FM. Stay with us. Colette Kennedy will be back with us right after the break for a look at your weather forecast into the weekend. We'll be right back. Colette Kennedy is back with us. And Colette, it is Friday night. We are dancing into the weekend, so set us up for it.
I would be happy to. And you know, there are good things. You can find good things about the weather anyway, sort of each day. And the first part is that we get some sunshine, and the second part is how it gets milder. So that's kind of your clue. Not necessarily the sunshine, though, for the second part. We'll get into that. These are your current readings, including lots of -10s on the board. Kitchener, Sarnia, Chatham, Kent, London as well, and Windsor. Close by, -9. We factor the winds in, which are a little bit lighter, but they still have an impact. So your wind chill is -14, and Chatham, Kent, they're feeling like -15. This is what I mean by lighter, but it doesn't take much when you've got this cold air in place, but it helps us. And just kind of looking at the skies, you know, there is that chance of seeing the meteors tonight, but I was mentioning earlier in the show, the moon is full actually on the 15th. We're on the 13th. Kind of close. Happy birthday to my sister, by the way. And with that, it kind of takes away some of your ability to see things in the skies. All right, I do want to show you what's happening here. I know it doesn't look like much, a lot of cloud cover in the Midwest. This is an area of low pressure, the next system that's going to be impacting us. And what is going to happen now is we're taking this into the evening hours tomorrow. Watch how this acts like a pump with that counterclockwise circulation. And boy, oh boy, it's pulling all of that moisture up from the Gulf. And we get all this moisture then into the atmosphere, and it's headed our way. But it also helps to push the temperature up. So a little milder tomorrow already, but do know that late tomorrow, okay, I'm thinking after midnight on Saturday, we get into some of this rain activity and maybe a tiny bit of mixing, but I think mostly it's going to be a rain event coming through southwestern Ontario. So that is what we have to deal with on Sunday. Overnight tonight, this is what we have to deal with. Temperature kind of close to where it is now, nearly steady, dipping another degree or two. And then we get to climb to 2 degrees on Saturday with the sunshine. If you're traveling elsewhere in the province, maybe towards the snow belt where they've received all that fresh powder, you'll have some nice conditions because even there, temperatures are going to be at least close to freezing or just below, and some sun. But then things change as we go into Sunday, 6 degrees, rain showers Monday, and 8. And then we'll start to kind of decline again, but we're probably getting pretty used to these ups and downs.
Absolutely. And hey, Colette, before we go, what's your sister's name?
Jacqueline, yes.
Well, happy birthday. So sorry, somebody was in my ear. I missed the name. Happy birthday. Thanks to you all. We'll see you on Monday.